The National Council on Privatisation has approved a reform bill that will strip NIPOST of all its regulatory function. Briefing State House correspondents after the council meeting in Abuja, the Minister of Communications Technology, Mrs. Omobola Johnson, said the key factor in the bill is that NIPOST should concentrate on its operational functions and help to contribute to the gross domestic product. Also, the National Council on Privatisation says all the power plants in the country now have core investors. The latest sale is the Egbin Power Plant, which has been sold to a Korean company at the cost of $407.3 million. Our State House correspondent Chukuma Onekwusi reports.
Vice President Namadi Sambo and members of the National Council on Privatisation sat for over 6 hours taking last-minute decisions on the privatization of some of those assets for which they believe are better run by the private sector. They considered the power plant transactions, transport regulatory bills, the postal sector reform bills, which strips NIPOST of its regulatory roles.
What the reform bill does is that it actually separates the regulatory aspect of NIPOST from the operating aspect of NIPOST. So there will be a commission that will regulate the postal sector, including NIPOST and the courier industry. And NIPOST can now begin to focus very closely on the commercialization of its operations.
On the power sector transactions, the chairman says that all the power plants in the country now have core investors, the letters being Egbin, sold at $407.3 million.
After negotiations and approval by the NCP, is to agree to sell a total of 70% of Egbin to Capeco. Capeco are from Korea. The terms, in accordance with all our past efforts to be transparent and to give you the financial information, Capeco will pay a total of $407.3 million. I repeat, $407.3 million.
The Minister of Mines said the mining sector assets still need to be cleaned up before decisions are taken on them. But on the power sector, the NCP reacts to complaints by the PHC and staff that there was no deal on their payoff by the federal government.
We are at that stage now where we will issue individual benefit statements to each employee. It is only after we have given them such benefit statements that they will now be able to say whether they've been shortchanged or not. Let us be careful that people are not playing politics with this issue.
Highlight of the meeting was the presentation of the evidence of payment by the CEO of Ampiron, the core investors for Geregu Power Plant, 3 weeks ahead of the expiration date. The NCP calls on other core investors to follow suit on the 10 scales. Chukuma Onekwusi, Channels Television News.